What is going on, guys? 2.0 here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at all of the Treads Upon Stars that I got to drop from the recent Scion Flare Nightfall. So I did mention my idea for this video in my Nightfall loot video I uploaded a few days back, but if you missed that, the Treads Upon Stars is a strike specific legendary scout rifle that will only drop from Cabal strikes, and the reason I really want to get one with a good set of upgrades is because it reminds me so much of the Vision of Confluence from year 1. That weapon was easily my favourite weapon in the game, and it would be nice to have that nostalgic feeling as the Treads Upon Stars both looks like and feels like the Vision of Confluence. And so when the Scion Flare Nightfall came around, I played it so many times trying to get the perfect roll on the Treads Upon Stars. So you might be wondering, what would I deem to be the perfect roll for this weapon? Well, for me, it would have to have a red dot OES sight. Nothing beats this on a scout rifle in my opinion. It's very clean and simple. Doesn't block your view at all like some of the other sights do. I don't really mind some of the other red dot sights, so if I did get a Treads Upon Stars that had everything I wanted but had a red dot OAS for example, I would still be really happy about that. But if we are talking about the perfect roll for me, I would have to go with the OES sight. In the next perk section, there are quite a few that I do really like to get on scout rifles. There's Triple Tap, Zen Moment and Crowd Control, so if I had any of these to drop, I would keep it so long as everything else on the weapon was good. But again, if we're going to be going for perfect, I would say Zen Moment, as you can pretty much max out the stability on this weapon if you have Zen Moment as well as Braced Frame. So that takes me onto the next set of perks, which I've already given it away. I would really want to get Brace Frame. However, if the weapon came with Perfect Balance, that would be really nice as well, purely so that I can max out the stability on the weapon. And then finally, in the last column of perks, I'd want to get Firefly or Third Eye. Firefly would be the best in my opinion, but I do like to get Third Eye as well. I do main a Hunter, and I really like to use the Knucklehead Radar, as it is a very good all-round exotic to use. And so if I had the Third Eye perk on this weapon, I wouldn't really need to use the Knucklehead Radar whenever I have this weapon equipped, and so I could use some of the other exotics in the game for hunters. But Firefly in this case would be the best perk for me to get. So those are all the perks that I've been aiming for. Now let's take a look at the rolls that I did get this week. So I've saved all of them in my vault, and you can see here I've actually had 12 of them to drop throughout the week. I'm going to guess that I played the Nightfall around 75 to 100 times this week, so purely that was just to get this scout rifle with a good set of upgrades. And having 12 of them drop was pretty good. But we don't just want any old gun, we want the one with the perfect set of upgrades. So if we take a look at the first one that I got here, this dropped with Zen Moment, which is one of the perks that I really wanted to get. But the other was Grenader, where kills with the weapon reduce cooldown of your grenade. So this second perk is pretty bad. It did have Perfect Balance, another one that I said I would like to get, but no red dot OES, and the Grenader perks means that this Treads Upon Stars will be dismantled for some extra legendary marks. The next one I got was actually really good, not perfect, but I do really like the look of it. So it dropped with Life Support, where kills while critically wounded have a chance to start regenerating health, and then Third Eye, which I did mention I'd like to get before. So again, no red dot OES, but it did have one of the other variations of a red dot, and so this was a pretty good drop to get. I will be keeping this one and testing it out to see how it compares to some of the other good drops that I did get this week. So moving on to the next one, as it was another good roll, it dropped with Triple Tap, which is on my list of perks to get, as well as Third Eye again, but unfortunately the middle section of perks here didn't really had any good ones to offer, so this was very nearly an amazing roll on the weapon, but still not perfect, so I did just keep farming. My next one that I got came with Last Resort, where the weapon handles and reloads faster when you're the last living player on your fire team. I won't make much use of this perk for scout rifles at all, so this wasn't a very good start. And then the second perk was Outlaw, which I do like this perk. This is the one where precision kills with the weapon dramatically increase reload speed. So happy about Outlaw, but that first perk is pretty useless for me, and so unfortunately this one again will be dismantled. Next up, this one was so close to perfection. It had Zen Moment, Firefly, Brace Frame, and then look at the optics. No red dots at all. They were all big clunky sights that I don't like at all. So if this had any variation of a red dot, I would be using this straight away. I'd use it so much, but of course it had to drop with some awful optics. So despite this though, I am going to keep this weapon, at least for a little bit. Maybe I could get used to one of these sights and come to like using it, as the perks are just so perfect in my opinion. It's literally just the optics that lets it down. The next one had Last Resort again, and then Hidden Hand, where the weapon gains better target acquisition. Not a fan of either of these perks, and so this one has to go. The next one dropped with Zen Moment, Perfect Balance and Brace Frame. It did have a red dot, not the OES, but at least it is not as bad as some of the other ones. But the final perk on this weapon was Reactive Reload, where reloading after a kill grants bonus damage for a short amount of time. This is by no means a bad perk, it's just there are many others out there that you can make so much more use of. Again, this was pretty good, but not quite what I am looking for. Then finally we got one with a red dot OES, but unfortunately the other perks let it down. So we got Last Resort, which I've already said isn't something I will be making much use of, and then Outlaw, which I did say before I do quite like this perk, but the fact that it does have Last Resort means that this one will unfortunately be dismantled as well. Next up, I got one with Who's Next. A kill with the final round in the mag will increase reload speed. Not particularly a great perk. And then Firefly, which I do love this perk. If I could have one perk on the weapon, that would definitely be it. But again, the first perk in this case, Who's Next, is letting the gun down. Getting near the end now, the next one I had drop came with Exhumed, where the weapon gains improved range and handling for a short time after revival. Awful perk in my opinion. And then the Grenader perk again, where kills reduce grenade cooldown. This is probably one of the worst rolls you could possibly get on this weapon, and so obviously this one is going to be dismantled. The next one I have leveled up quite a bit and infused it quite a bit as well. I did get this one earlier on, it's just the second to last one that I have put in my vault at the moment. So this one here had Zen Moment and Outlaw, both very nice perks, but again, no red dot. The sight I was using was the True Sight IAS, and that's okay. I would obviously prefer the red dot, but this would probably be the second best sight for me, which is why I have been using this one, as I did get it quite early on and the upgrades weren't too bad on it at all. So I thought I'd just level it up a bit and use it just so that I could use the one weapon that I am hunting for to keep me going throughout the week. As I did mention before, I played this Nightfall so many times this week. And then lastly, the final one that I had for the week was one of the best that I had. So this one had Crowd Control, one of the perks that I mentioned at the start of this video that I would like to have on the weapon. This upgrade makes it so that kills with the weapon will increase the damage it does, so a really useful one to get there. And then Firefly, obviously I've said it many times in this video already, best perk you could get here in my opinion. However, of course, something had to ruin it, and this time it was the optics again. So it does have the quick draw IS, but the other two were both very big and bulky ones, so I am going to keep this one. This was easily one of the better ones that I had throughout the week. It's just a shame that whenever I get one that looks promising, something spoils it, as there always seems to be a downside with each of these drops. But that was all the Treads Upon Stars that I got throughout farming Nightfalls this week. Next time the Nightfall is a Cabal Strike, I'll be back at it again, trying to get the perfect roll on this weapon. But until then, I'll just have to get lucky in some heroic strikes. So guys, that is going to bring us to the end of the video. So if you did enjoy it, please leave a like, because it really does help me out. Let me know down below in the comments if you've had a good Treads Upon Stars and what you got on it. Subscribe if you're new around here, as I do upload daily Destiny videos. And as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one.